Okay guys, our second video of the day. It's 9:30 in the morning now, and yeah, sorry it's a bit dark. It's we're under the house. There's the door over there. We're about 15-20 feet under, and there we have my best jackhammer, the Hitachi. Okay, I have a Bosch, I've had a Makita, and personally I like the Hitachi. She's nice. It's the trigger is easier for me. A lot of guys like the triggers that just stay on. They're no good for the Hitachi. It wears them out too fast. Okay, the Hitachi power on as you're digging in, let go as you're pulling out. Okay. Okay, what's happening here with this stump? I pulled some of the concrete away so you can see the rust on the these two. There's those splitting around over there too. And what I found is there's the bottom of the post. They actually did a good job not putting the steel all the way through like they normally do, which is normally sticking into the ground to start, because what they have is a hole. They put the Rio into the hole to hold it upright. Then they fill the hole with concrete, and then they put the mould on top of the pier just there the following day, and then build up from there. This one, the reason why it was corroding is this concrete here is very porous. Okay, it's not a real good blend. It's very dry. It's just falling apart right there. It's got hardly any fines in it. So that's where the water's getting into the steel. It's just falling apart. It's not very strong concrete at all. It does enough for support-wise. It's okay, but for stopping the water getting into that steel, no good at all, because it soaks through the pier to the steel, and then rusts from there. But she's only 1.5 feet in the ground. Okay, just 700, 600, 700 in the ground. Not even 600. Or am I only just. Okay, so that's what's causing it, so you understand, or get you a chance to understand what's happening. Through capillary action, the water's coming up, the rust is just coming up and growing on its way up the steel, and there is nothing, and I mean nothing, that will stop rust exploding almost anything. Whether it's steel on steel, concrete on steel, plastic on steel, it doesn't matter. If there's rust in there, the rust is super strong. It just, because it makes the steel expand, and as it expands, it puts pressure on and it just blows everything apart. I've seen some super strong welds be blown apart by rust. It doesn't matter, rust will blow it away. So the idea is to try and make sure the steel doesn't rust, and you need a minimum of 50 mil of good concrete, good high fines concrete, to stop water from getting to steel. Minimum 50 mil. Okay, and even better if you add some bondcrete to make the concrete waterproof. But I usually try and get 3 or 4 inches of good concrete around. You'll see tomorrow we get concrete taxi in to mix the concrete for us. So we don't have to bring any concrete on site and mix on site, because we're only using about 1 metre. So it makes a nice clean way of doing it. A bit more expensive, it's cheaper to mix it by yourself, but it means you have to mix it. Okay, concrete taxi, they do it for you. They bring the gravel, bring the cement, mix it all on the truck, and then all we have to do is wheel it down and put it in the hole. So anyway, that's where I'm at. I thought I'd just show you that. I'll show you more as we go. I'll try and make a more explanatory video to show you what actually is happening to these concrete posts. You can see on that one the way the rust is just blowing that apart. Okay, it's like a bad tooth. the toxins inside blow out, and of course that's where you get the pain from the acid inside the tooth biting into the nerve, and gives you nerve pain, which is agonizing. Once you relieve the pressure on the top, of course it makes it a lot easier. Then you get bicarb of soda and a few other things inside the tooth to try and alleviate the acid, which will let it calm down the nerve. That's how I do it anyway. Rust is almost the same. Okay, it's sort of an acidic reaction. As the water comes up, makes that steel explode with the rust as the rust grows. Very similar, and the idea is to try and stop that from happening, because the last thing you want to do is keep on coming around and replacing concrete posts, or steel posts have the same problem. if you don't put enough concrete around a steel post, you don't have a good enough concrete. But around a steel post, of course, just like this one here, paint it, okay? You paint them before they go in the ground. So you've got an enamel, preferably an enamel around at the bottom there before you put any concrete. These are the old galvanised round posts. You'd be amazed, they last forever. The galvanising process on those is different to what it's on the square posts. I don't know why, it just is. Okay, and you can buy those ready galvanised from the factory. The steel post, you can't get hot dip gal from the factory. I'd love it if they did it the same galvanising process as they did those. That'd be a fantastic post then. But galvanising is a notorious rust producer. Well, it's not actually rust, it's an acid corrosion producer which eats through the steel in less than 10 years. It's one of the things I replace most is new steel posts. Because today with everything being galvanised, I'm replacing steel posts all the time because they rust within 6 to 10 years. Whether there's zinc, just a light zinc, or whether hot dip gal, it doesn't matter. If you're not treating it properly and not putting enough concrete around it, enough cement in the concrete, you can say goodbye to that post in 10 years. But back to this concrete one, as we keep on working on it. Okay, thanks for viewing. Again, hit the subscribe button, that little button down here, you know, that one there. Do that for me, please. I'm trying to build this channel up. I'm going to really do it this time up to Christmas. Really work hard at it, then plough through it again next year. I've got to build myself a retirement fund enough that I can start doing serious educational videos and help videos on health and eating, and try and help in a lot of areas. As I said, I'm a jack of all trades. I've done 32 different trades in the building industry alone. I've been a disc jockey for 30 years. And my mum was a natural therapist, and I learned a lot from her, and I've done a lot of learning since then. But you'll see all that on the other videos. Check them out. Worth having a look. Staying healthy is very important. I'm not worried about plus or minus. Weight doesn't bother me. Okay, I don't care if you're 150 kilo. That's what I am. I'm still lifting 150. I'm still lifting 150 kilo at work. I'm still working hard, doing this sort of stuff. And I'm 60 years old, 150 kilo. Okay, I still outdo quite often the younger guys because nobody knows how to work hard anymore. Anyway, we will catch up, and I'll do a few more videos yet today, so we can show you how this is done, and so you get an idea how to make things happen. And of course, if you're doing this sort of work, make sure you get yourself a decent jackhammer. Also, just a reminder on jackhammers, this thing here is $1,200, okay? It's one of the best jackhammers you'll ever buy. One of the reasons why is it has shock absorber rubbers in the handle. Okay, you can, if you're wanting to hire one, great. If you're wanting to buy an El Cheapo $250 machine, just be aware, they're great for a short time use, but if you're using it for a long time, you want to make sure you save your wrists and save your elbows. Grab one that has suspension, has shock absorbers in the handle so it doesn't blow your wrists away. Okay, because if you're using it long-term use and you're supplying it to your staff, especially if you're supplying it to your staff, they're going to come out back at you with RSI with all sorts of problems, which you'll then have to pay insurance on, and they'll have days off, and it'll cost you a fortune. Spend the extra money, get a machine that's worth having, and that's either the Bosch, the Hitachi, anything that has shock absorbers at the top, and is a professional machine, which normally means they're around $1,000. Any good tool, it's almost every tool I have in that truck is almost $1,000. Okay, it doesn't matter what it is. Anything that's worthwhile having, they all cost around that, and more. So just remember that when you're buying or looking at having a jackhammer. If you're going to use it for any length of time, make sure you grab one that has all the shock absorbing capabilities that the more expensive ones do, because the cheap ones don't. Okay? Right guys, thanks a lot. Talk to you soon. Bye.